Welcome back to The Legal Brief, the show where we crush the various legal myths and misinformation surrounding various areas of the gun world. I'm your host, Adam Kraut, and today we're talking about the recent article regarding firearm seizures.
The Spartan from LaserMax offers a different approach to weapon-mounted light and laser combos. Available with either a red or green laser, it also takes advantage of the most visible wavelength in the color spectrum and projects 120 lumens of mint green light with just a single AAA battery. Able to be mounted on virtually any pistol with a Picatinny rail, you can own the night by clicking the link in the video description to learn more.
The NRA Board of Directors election is right around the corner. I know a lot of you are very interested to hear about my stance on the problems gun owners face. Head on over to my website, adamkraut.com, to learn more about my views on the issues. The link is in the description. I've seen a lot of comments from you guys asking us to talk about national reciprocity since it's gotten out of committee. Given that by the time this airs, it will likely been voted on by the House, I feel that I'd be doing you a disservice by trying to film an episode on it now. We'll come back to that after the dust has settled. Now, USA Today published an exclusive article which found that the FBI issued more than 4,000 requests last year for ATF agents to retrieve firearms that were transferred to individuals who turned out to be prohibited persons. That number was actually 4,170. If you don't know what a prohibited person is, be sure to check out the episode we did on that previously. It's worth mentioning the largest category of individuals who are prohibited are those that are encompassed in 18 U.S.C. 922 G1. Remember, that's the category of individuals who are convicted of a crime punishable by more than 1 year imprisonment. And that crime also includes state law misdemeanors punishable by more than 2 years imprisonment. Because 2 means 1 and hell, politicians probably aren't that good at math, right? That's why they're politicians and taxes, yeah, anyway. That means...
Taxation is theft!
Yeah, something like that. That also means things like DUI, making false statements on government forms, etc. can all be prohibiting offenses, not just violent felonies. If you weren't aware, FBI is the agency responsible for running the National Instant Background Check System, or as you probably better know it as, NICS. ATF is responsible for enforcing gun control regulations, which is why FBI sends ATF to retrieve firearms mistakenly transferred to prohibited persons. So we have a background check system that's intended to stop prohibited persons from obtaining firearms, but yet, in certain instances, prohibited persons are still able to get them after submitting to a background check. How is that possible? The most likely answer to this question is that federal law does allow for the transfer of a firearm 3 business days after no response from NICS. The law only states that a licensee shall not transfer a firearm unless they receive a unique transaction number or 3 business days have passed. The law does not force a licensee to transfer a firearm after those 3 business days. As a result, most dealers tend to shy away from this allowance in the law because they are concerned with the individual being a prohibited person and the liabilities that may be associated with such a transfer. So how does all this work? When a gun shop contacts NICS, they get one of 3 responses: proceed, delay, and denied. Options 1 and 3 are very clear. However, if a gun shop contacts NICS and receives a delay response, that starts the clock for the 3 business day countdown, which is found in the Gun Control Act. If the shop does not receive an updated response after the 3rd business day, they are able to lawfully transfer the firearm to the individual. For example, if Bubba, our favorite resident criminal, went to a gun shop to buy a gun and got a delay response on Monday, the shop could lawfully transfer the firearm to him on Friday, if they had not received an updated response from NICS. Which begs the question, what if Bubba was actually a prohibited person and the firearm was transferred after NICS failed to give a response within 3 business days? NICS does not stop researching the individual until they reach a determination as to that individual's status. So, if the NICS examiner turns up information that Bubba was prohibited, they then issue a request to ATF to retrieve the firearm, assuming it was transferred. Alternatively, if they examine the records and find that he's not prohibited, they would update the status to proceed.
I need authorization.
Authorize!
The article also points to a 2004 and 2016 Office of the Inspector General report which reviewed ATF's firearms retrieval. I've included links to those in the description. The 2016 report found that out of the 125 firearms retrieval instances that were sampled, 116 firearms were recovered, roughly 93%, which included all of the firearms FBI erroneously approved the transfer of. Interestingly, and somewhat relevant to a different topic, the OIG also identified a group of approximately 50,000 transactions where ATF and the FBI have an ongoing dispute that should be resolved as to whether certain transactions involving prohibited category fugitives from justice should be denied. We'll likely circle back to that one in the future.
Back to the future!
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how a prohibited person may actually be able to get through a background check and obtain a firearm that the law prohibits them from having. Of course, that doesn't mean ATF won't be knocking on their door later on to correct FBI's mistake. I hope they don't have a dog. Tired of old wives' tales being whispered around the gun shop counter? Make sure you share this video with your friends. Don't forget to hit that like button, and if you haven't subscribed already, you better make that happen. Hang out on Facebook, make sure you don't have your dog in the ATF Nation group. Check out my website, adamkraut.com, and as always, thanks for watching.
The shirts worn in today's video on The Gun Collective have been provided by Patriot Patch. Closed captions have also been brought to you by Patriot Patch Company. Be sure to click the link in the video description to check out all of their great products, including their cleaning mats.